Hey, what's up peeps? Today I'm just going to be bringing you a little RuneScape update, something that was posted on the forums today, which is the Wilderness and Free Trade questions and answers. Mod, I couldn't even pronounce that if I tried, Hobeen, posted on the forums about a Wilderness question and answers forum. Also, prior to this, there will be on the Saturday the 22nd of January at 3 PM GMT, which is UK time, there will be a Q&A session with their content team who will be fielding your questions on the imminent return of free trade and wilderness. So, yeah, check that out. So the FAQ for the wilderness and free trade. This is the general FAQ, which is most of the questions that were asked on I think a little forum they had, a little thread, that they had a little while ago. So, what do we have? We have, how will the Grand Exchange work now? And they've put, essentially it will work exactly how it worked before, just without any price restrictions. It means you will be able to offer to buy or sell at the price you think is right. So as I said in a previous video, it's basically going to be like your own player shop or market stall kind of thing, where you'll put things on GE and you'll set your own price restrictions, and if people want to buy it for that, they will. Will there be guide prices? Yes, the guide price will be based on the previous day's trading. The guide price will usually only change by a maximum of 5% per day, just as it currently works. So, no real change there. There will be a guide price, but nobody will have to be fixed to that. You'll be able to trade whatever you want to trade. But the guide price will be just so people have something to sell, you know, a price that they can sell it to people at. Will we be able to buy or sell items for whatever we want now? Yes, assuming you find a buyer and seller, of course. So it's basically just saying, if you can find someone to buy it at the price you're willing to sell it, by all means. Can I give gifts to my friends now, like 1 million if I wanted to? Yes, indeed. So no restrictions at all. You said that the price limits will be removed, but what about the buying restrictions? Buying restrictions will remain in place. These exist purely to reduce market monopoly and ensure a high number of players can buy high demand objects like god swords. So that just basically, like now, stops people from being able to go to the GE and mass buy something and stop anyone in the game having it, which causes then the price to rise, and only then will they make money. Next, scamming. Will item scamming be a problem? What is being done to prevent item scamming? Basically, they say that the normal restrictions and rules will be in place, which will just be warning screens, the wieldy wall, better examine options, and clearer rules will help to prevent scamming. However, ultimately, as they say, it's up to you, the player, to protect yourself as it is today. Remember, if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is, and that's a fixed rule that you should always use when you're buying or selling things to stop yourself from being scammed. Also, pay attention to the screen. It's obvious. Will the trade warnings still be in the trade window to prevent item scamming? Yes, and if people try to change the trade, you'll still have the large, red exclamation mark as you do now, and you can reconfirm it, whatever. Staking. What is going to happen with staking at the Duel Arena? Staking is returning, so you'll be able to bet anything tradable on the outcome of the battle. So you can stake 1 million versus 1 million and fight for it, and the winner takes all. Will I be able to stake in any other activities? And the answer is yes. Conquest now, the pest control, that's the pest control minigame. Conquest, you'll be able to stake a lot more. The rat pits also remains if you want to bet a few coins on your cat's prowess, but that's just for fun and has restrictions in place, so it's just there to have fun with, not make any serious money out of. Will you add more options for staking in the Duel Arena, for example no degradable items or team staking? And they have no They have no intentions of putting it in there yet, but potentially in the future it could happen. What's happened to the duel tournaments? Well, they're going to be switching off the duel tournaments activity. They're just going to be taking it away and reworking it, and probably employing it in the near future. People's ranks and higher scores will be preserved in case they are relevant in the future as well. So how's the price checker going to work? Well, the price checker feature will be removed or changed now that players can trade freely. It's not being removed, it just won't show trade limits anymore. It will show the guide price. Yeah, so it will show the guided price of the day when you're price checking, but obviously you could set it for whatever you want to set it for. So gravestones have had a change. If you die in the wilderness, there will be no gravestone at all. If you were killed by a player, they get the drop, and if you was killed by a monster, everybody will see it immediately. So that's a big change. But obviously outside of the wilderness it will still be normal. Some areas of the wilderness are still PK free, like the original Mage Arena. In those areas and the rest of the game, a gravestone will appear and exist just as they do today. The gravestone can still be blessed and maintained by other players. A player returning to their gravestone will be able to reclaim all of their lost items. If a player doesn't return to their gravestone and it crumbles away, all players will be able to pick up the loot. So that now means if you don't get a bless or you don't get repaired, you're fucked. People are going to steal your shit. So lending items. How will item lending work? Will it be changed in any way? You can't use borrowed items in the wilderness, and you can't stake a lent item. But I suppose you could probably use a lent item to stake with. I don't know, that's confusing a little bit. Aside from that, it's exactly as it was before. This isn't restricted to combat gear. No lent items can be used at all in the wilderness. If you enter the wilderness with one equipped, you will have the item that you've got on that's lent to you return to either your inventory. It will be if it's in your inventory or on you, it will be banked or returned to the owner depending on the space available. So if you've got a full bank, it will go back to the owner. If you haven't, it will just put it in the bank for you. So the party room's taken a change as well. Will they alert banks? No, not anymore. And it's not going to have a timer on it. So the moment you pull the lever, the balloons will drop. Also, there's no price restrictions on it anymore. Also, the player-owned house rewards chest is taking a bit of a change, in which coin restrictions for each level of reward chest have been increased dramatically, with the top level chest of magic having no restrictions at all. Dropping objects in the wilderness. So now when you drop objects in the wilderness, they become visible to everyone immediately, as long as the items were tradable to begin with. So if you dropped Karossi, it probably would just remain on the ground and nobody can see it. Untradable items will never become visible to other players. If you manually, I'm not even going to bother, put items on a table in the wilderness, they'll become visible to everyone as well. So if you go and put a whip on a table, everyone's going to see it and go for it, so don't do that. Wilderness and PvP questions. Will we be able to use extreme potions in the wilderness? This is a very large thing on the forums. No. It's if you do pot up with extremes or overloads, it will be reduced to super level, like if you used to drink a super attack or strength. This duplicates the current function on PvP worlds. What about untradable items like dungeoneering walls, Karossi sword, fire capes, etc.? How will these work in the wilderness? One of three things will happen. Some objects will vanish, some drop cash, like Anchor pre-2007 will include Karossi swords. Others drop a tradable equivalent, like summoning headgear that's enchanted being dropped unenchanted, so I suppose that'd work with whips as well. So if you had a coloured whip, it would just drop a normal whip. Most popular untradable PvP item equipment will not vanish. So a few people have told me that means like fire capes and stuff will not vanish. You could go back and pick them up, like fire cape and torso. So what are they going to do with the Revenants? Well, the Revenants are going to be put in a little PvP-enabled dungeon, where they will now drop the Brawlers, Corrupt Dragons, statues added to them. Revenants will no longer teleblock or freeze opponents, but will continue to change combat styles and generally cause havoc, like they do now. However, the periphery I can't really say that, bracelet now has a new functionality. You can use it to repel revenants and also temporarily and have temporary immunity to damage to all damage you get from a revenant. Sorry, I'm losing track a little bit. Been talking for too long. All of the PvP items like status and VLS and stuff are going to be put with the revenants as well. The PvP mechanics apparently are back to the way it was. There are a few extra escape routes in the wilderness than there were before, however most of them cannot be used whilst under attack. Obviously we have new weapons, curses and entire summoning skill to generate new tactics, so it's going to be different now compared to how it was pre-2007. Let me just run over it and I'll see if there's anything that's really worth. Oh, Corporal Beast is now going to be put on the games necklace, so you can teleport straight to the first cave to get to the Corporal Beast. All the quest areas are now going to be knocked off. So now you can, if you're doing a quest, you won't be attacked at all whilst you go into the wilderness whilst you're doing that quest, and also the quest areas themselves, you can't be attacked in them. They're not PvP areas. They're like little safe zones. What else? Oh, all mini games have been moved to Falador, to a new place called the Gamers Grotto. Now this hasn't happened yet, obviously, but when it comes, they're going to move Stealing's Creations, Clan Wars, and a portal to Fist of Guthix, all inside the Games Grotto in Falador. Clan Wars dangerous free-for-all battles will now follow standard wilderness rules of item loss. So if you lose an item, I take it you will get the drop. Penguins and shooting stars are still going to happen in the wilderness. I think that's fair. Treasure trails have been tweaked, so you won't get as many. The number of possible, as it says here, the number of possible treasure trail locations remains the same. However, you won't be sent to the wilderness as often as you were before, so that's all good. Will you add any safe worlds? No, it's the wilderness. It's not meant to be safe. The game engine is going to be changed back to Runescape, I think it says. Oh, it's basically saying back in the day you could trap people in. They're not going to do that. One itemers, no problem with them because they're now going to designate all of the bounty hunter and PvP worlds now into higher risk wilderness worlds. The volcano bank's still going to be there. Summoning's enabled. It's just going to be looking like the combat in F2P, and familiars can attack people. And one last thing. Anything else? Runite rocks in the real wilderness will refill much faster than Runite rocks anywhere else in the game, because obviously you'll be risking. The Chaos Elemental has had his drop table improved and can also drop the old PvP specific armor and weapons. So the Elemental Chaos Demon thing, whatever the fuck it is, the Chaos Elemental, that's the one, will now drop all the old PvP status, Vestas, all that sort of stuff. So looking at all this, I really can't wait for the update. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm sorry it was a bit rushed, but it was a lengthy thing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace.